In this first look video from InfluenceWP, we are checking out a SaaS solution called SiteSkite. This is going to be a next generation WordPress management tool. So maybe you run an agency where you do website support and maintenance, or maybe you just even a solopreneur out there that's managing a number of websites and you need a centralized location. That's going to be what this tool does. So a centralized place to manage, monitor, backup, optimize, all those types of things for WordPress websites from a centralized location. Before we poke around the website here a bit for SiteSkite and then look at the actual solution together, just a quick bit of housekeeping. First look videos cover products we have no prior experience with. They show vendors how new users experience their website and product for the very first time. These videos are unedited, high-level introductions that are not paid for, they're not sponsored, and they contain no affiliate links. If you'd like videos like this created for your business, go to InfluenceWP.com and request your free partner membership. And we thank SiteSkite for being a partner. If you like what you see in this video, go over to our website and grab the exclusive offer for SiteSkite. All right, so the website we are looking at today is SiteSkite.com. That's SiteSkite.com. And as I said, this is a next generation WordPress management solution. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for the features section. So we're going to rattle off all of the features and make sure we don't miss any when we go to look at the actual solution together. And then we're going to look for some key trust pages. We're going to look for an about page, a changelog, and some documentation. All right. Okay, so let's just scroll down the home page a bit and see if we can find those features. Here we go. So powerful features, seamlessly delivered. Linked sites bring all of your WordPress websites together in one dashboard where you can update the plugins, the themes, and WordPress core in a single click. Automated backups, pretty self-explanatory. Teams and users, you can work seamlessly with your team or your clients or both. Assign roles with tailored permissions. Admin, team, member, or client, so everyone gets the exact access that they need. Next up is vulnerability detection. SiteSkite proactively scans your WordPress core themes and plugins against trusted security databases to identify risks. Next up is Sandbox Site. Launch a fresh WordPress environment in just 1 second. Perfect for quick experiments, plugin testing, theme exploration, or trying ideas from scratch. Next up is clone site from backup. Create a full working clone of your website directly from an existing backup. Next up, we have WP Essentials. Install must-have plugins like SEO, security, performance, and forms in seconds. With one click, apply your preferred stack to any site. Next up is the ability to white label. So rebrand SiteSkite with your own branding. Next up is bring your own cloud storage. Backup and restore sites directly to your preferred cloud provider. And we also have Smart Engine, automate and manage updates across all of your linked sites with ease, bulk update, rollback, add or delete plugins and themes in one go. WP Canvas, take full control of your WordPress sites with advanced native tools. Manage site indexing, debug settings, maintenance mode, search and replace, permalinks, site language, database resets, and so on and so forth. Rollback updates is another feature. Update with confidence, knowing you can always roll back the plugin, theme, or core of WordPress. PageSpeed performance. SiteSkite gives you a complete performance command center designed to help you optimize speed, stability, and user experience across the board. Track core web vitals, page load times, and so on and so forth. Next up is WP User Management. Centralized user control access for all of your users. Create, edit, or remove WordPress users without logging into each site. Reset password, adjust roles, manage permissions, all from one dashboard. And last but not least, notifications. Stay informed with smart alerts and automated schedules. Receive notifications for updates, uptime events, backups, and site activity. Automate update schedules and get instant alerts when something needs attention. Okay, that is a lot of features. That is really, really cool. So outside of InfluenceWP, I run an agency where this is exactly the type of tool that I use and need. I don't use this one specifically, but this is something I can really speak to. And this is so this is a really interesting specifically for me. And I can speak to a lot of these features, if not all of them, as we go along. Okay, I think we've covered all of this. Let's look for an about page and some documentation. I'm not seeing an about page. All right, let's find some documentation. No docs either from what I am seeing. Maybe it's this knowledge base right here. Oops. Okay, here's our docs. All right, so let's just go in and check out some of these. Okay, this looks to be good documentation. As I always like to do, I like to test the search. So let's do just some random word. Let's go reset. Beautiful, beautiful. This is excellent documentation. Okay, let me see if the change log is in here by chance. Nope, it's not. So it's more than likely we're going to see it in the actual product itself rather than on the website. So my recommendation, unless I'm just missing this, is that I would have a change log down here in the footer of the website. Okay, that would be my last bit of feedback. So we rattled off all the features. We found the docs. We need also we need an about page to establish trust. So a bit about the team, faces with names of team members, a little history of the company, philosophy, all that stuff. All that stuff helps with trust. All right. Other than that, I think we're good to go, and we're going to go check this solution out. All right. So what do we do first? I've got this test website. I need to manage it from SiteSkite. What do we do? So I'm logged into my SiteSkite dashboard, so you'll get to see what this looks like. And I'm immediately drawn to this, start building. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Please enter the website URL you want to manage, okay? Install the SiteSkite plugin, okay? From your WordPress dashboard, use the API key below. Okay, so it lets me copy the API key. I think another bit of feedback here. I think the ability to download the plugin right from here would be cool. But let's go ahead and go over here, add new plugin. Oops, that's not going to work. SiteSkite. Now that I'm doing this, I can kind of see why you would be directed here, because they want that install number update, increased. Okay, I'll give them that. All right, install, activate. We need to put in that API key. So I'm jumping right here into settings of SiteSkite from the plugins table. We can also get it from this settings menu in WordPress and the WordPress dashboard. All right, we're going to drop in our API key, save our key. All right, we have a valid key. To enable remote management features, connect your site. Okay, we did that. So if I refresh, that should go away, right? Okay. Site connected to the SiteSkite portal, remote management enabled. Okay. So we have the ability to disconnect from the client side if we want. All right, what do we do next? Let's go back to our SiteSkite dashboard. Sandbox.influencewp.com is successfully linked with the SiteSkite portal. Let's go ahead and let's go ahead and view dashboard, I guess. It looks like over here on the right, they've got a little onboarding wizard too. That's kind of cool. Okay, so we already took care of all of that. Let's go view dashboard. Okay, this is where all the fun is going to happen. So again, this is one of the things I do in my agency. So I'm going to geek out about this probably. Okay, so they start us off in this, what looks like a homepage tab, a home tab. We're in the overview sub tab. Here we go. We can do a site preview. Okay, so that just takes us to our homepage of that site. We can jump straight to the WordPress admin from here. That is super cool. We have the IP address of the site, the amount of disk space used. I'm assuming that's what that is. We have some logs. We have some tags. So maybe we want to identify this site with some tags. A little bit of an accessibility issue here. It's really hard to read, add tags, so it's something that can be adjusted. So I could put a tag in here like brand, like maybe this is my own site that I'm managing within this tool. I could tag it with brand and then sort by that later. All right, so we see that tag in there. What else? What else? What if so you can copy the IP address, disk space, Google's page speed score. So what I did there is I clicked on this logs item. So error logs, debug logs, custom paths. So to view some of these, you need to turn some other stuff on, which is completely understandable and true. You can enter a custom log file path to view the logs, delete them, copy the logs, search the logs, refresh. Cool, cool. All right. That is powerful stuff. We have a monitor here, average. This is very hard to read. Average response time. Maybe I'm just blind. I've got glasses on. Average response time. Status paused. I'm not sure what that means. And then we've got maybe a monitoring is paused. Let's start it. There we go. So it looks like monitoring was paused. We just needed to turn it on. Status is up, green, and then we've got like a history. That's cool. Updates, themes, latest, plugins, latest, core is the latest, vulnerability check, no issues. Here's our backups. So showing that our next scheduled backup, there isn't one scheduled. We get a total number of backups, the size that it's taking up. Down here, we have a reset button. I'm not quite sure what that resets. We can archive the site. Not quite sure what that does either. Reset, disconnect is pretty self-explanatory. I'm down here in the bottom, if you haven't seen this, at the very bottom of the screen. Account quota. Okay, so this is just more account information. Create report profile. I'm in the top right here of the screen. Create your first report template. All right, we're not going to do that right now. Okay, how do I get back to where I was? Okay, so we're back in the overview here. Archive. What is this? Deleted expired sites, no archive sites. Oh, okay, so that's looking into the archived sites. It's not archiving a site. Okay. Reset. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is doing. Is it reset? So I would say a little bit of feedback here is maybe some tool tips on what some of this stuff does. This, I guess, it's just reset. I'm a little confused about. Is it resetting the settings of this site? Is it resetting all of the stats? I'm not quite sure what that is. Oh, okay, I just saw this too up here, site info. So the WordPress version, PHP version, active SSL certificate, the language of the site. Oh, we can add some notes. This is neat. So that's cool. You can add notes. Let's click on this site info menu here. You can turn on these various items, site indexing, WP debug, maintenance mode. So it has maintenance mode built in. That's cool. Search and replace. That's cool. Here we can change our permalink structure for the sites. Keep in mind, this is all remote, right? We're not having to log into the site to do this. So this is really, really cool. Enable all plugins, update all themes. Okay. So this is overview. We drop down to themes. We're probably going to have to speed this up a bit. Otherwise, we're going to be here for quite some time. This is showing all of the themes that I currently have installed on this test site. which ones are active, inactive, updates are available. You can auto update certain themes if you want, find any vulnerabilities. We can add a new theme to a site from here. Again, it's going to keep, so I'll say it one more time. This is all remote. So this is just really cool stuff. Always geek out about this kind of stuff. Plugins, same thing. All plugins, active, inactive, updates available, auto updates, vulnerabilities. Add a new plugin from here. So under backups now, we see a list of daily backup restore checkpoints. So I just flipped on automatic backups. Backup schedule autumn updated. We could do incremental backups. So maybe you want to back up the always, back up the database daily, for example, but maybe you want to run an incremental backup of something else. There's just a million ways you can do this. Depends on how you go about this things in your maintenance business. Backup schedule type, individual site, reset to global. Not quite sure what that means. Yeah, so a bit of feedback again is, maybe some tooltips, some link to some docs, something in here, because I'm not even quite sure what I just did. I'm going to turn all these backups off. On-demand backups, you can run 30. We've ran 0 of 30. Permanent backups, you can run 2. Here it's showing all of the different locations for the storage providers: Dropbox, Google Drive, Backblaze, pCloud, AWS S3. Enable recovery mode to regain dashboard access after fatal errors. So you can turn that on. Grants controlled access even when WordPress is inaccessible, enabling rollbacks and restores. Here's all of our backup types down here. I'm going to click on this backup schedule. Oh, yeah, here's what I was saying before, where you could have like database only or files only, or you can do a full, and then you set the schedule. Always want to have your backups on a schedule and automatically running and testing those backups. So very, very cool. Let's go to monitor. Let's see here. It's up. Status is up. Average response time, SSL, domain expiration. That's really cool. So domain expiration monitoring. We can turn notifications on or off. Change the chart time frame. Response time, status history, incident history. Okay, so this is where you would go, just as the name says, to monitor everything. Performance. Track your website's overall performance via Google PageSpeed Insights. So once I clicked on that, it's automatically running a desktop scan, if you will. Maybe we can just let this run. I'm gonna go down here under users. Okay, so it's fetched our users. Here we can select them and delete them from here. Again, we have this archive sites, which I'm not quite sure why that's there. But anyway, we can edit. It shows our roles. That's really cool. We can edit it, change the email address. Can't change the username. That's cool. It makes sense. We can update the password. We can change the role. We can send an email notification. All right, we'll just skip out of that. That is really cool, really handy. We can add a new user from here. All right, that's pretty self-explanatory there. Trying to think. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really quite sure why this bar is constantly down there. Because it makes me think that it's something to do with specifically with the tab I'm in, which is users, but it looks like it's to do with sites. Let me see if I can delete this author account from down here. Yeah, okay, you can. Yeah, this one right here is just a little archive site. Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. Domain. Check the domain details and configuration for your site. List of domains. Okay, we have that domain expiration there. Self-explanatory. We can go ahead and move on. So if you're using a tool like this, you're probably going to have a whole list of sites in here, but this is a nice handy way of getting quick stats, quick meta about the sites. We have the ability to adjust the view settings, do a site preview. Check out the view settings. Okay, this is back to where we were already. All right, down here at the bottom, this little bar thing has changed again. It now says view mode. Okay, so you can have like a list, like a table, or you can have these cards. That's cool. All right. What else? What else? Obviously, clicking into the site is going to take us back where we were. Let's go to Sandbox Sites. We can create a Sandbox site. As we said earlier, create a fresh WordPress site in just 1 second. Let's just test that out. Site has been added. All right, that is pretty darn fast. So here's our Sandbox site. Now, the only thing I am not sure of is, let's go back to the SiteSkite website. Let's go to pricing. Let's do a search for staging. So it says 5 basic linked sites and 1 pro linked site. Okay. So I think what that is saying is the Sandbox site isn't actually linked. Like this site is actually linked. Yeah. Okay. It's got a badge here, linked. So the Sandbox site isn't linked, but how many Sandbox sites can I create? Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Maybe let's see, Sandbox. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm unsure of, because like, what if you create hundreds and hundreds of sandboxes in here? Maybe that's, oh, here we go. Expires in 4 hours, 58 minutes. Okay. Let's try to do another one. Creating, site has been added. That's pretty darn fast. Okay. I don't know what the limit here is, if maybe it's rate limited on how fast you can create these, but that is that. So let's go ahead and move on. Next up is something called Smart Engine. We start off in the themes tab. The following is a list of your site themes. Okay, we saw this already. And here's the plugins. We saw that already. Here's our monitors. I think we saw this already. So right now we are looking at all of the sites that are hooked up to this account. Let's go to WP Essentials. The following is a list of your presets of plugins. Interesting. So for example, let's just look at this one. We'll choose Elementor. Looks like you haven't created a preset yet. Search for the plugins you need and save them as your first WP Essential preset. Okay, let's call this Elementor. All right, now what? Let's click this. There we go. Okay, so we have our preset called Elementor over here. We can add a note if we want. So it's not actual settings. I must have read that wrong. Presets of plugins. So okay, I think what this is doing. Okay, I think I see what this is doing. This is what I call a blueprint. like kind of like a blueprint of all of your plugins. So like, let's say for example, you're going to install a site or whatever, and like you just like these. Let's just pretend this is your stack. That's what I was trying to think of. This is your stack, right? And if you need to search for and add more plugins here, you can. But I'm not sure how to rename this now. There we go. You just call this whatever. My stack, for example, and then looks like you haven't created any. I thought we did. All right, let's try this one more time here. So you can search for a plugin. Let's just select one to get started. My stack, save it. Boom. Okay, now it's over here. And then you can put a note. This is our preferred stack. Okay, you can just put a note there. For what's the reason why did you create this preset? Okay, let's go back over here. So that's under WP Essentials. And then we call them, like they're called presets. Next up, let's go to the workspace tab here. Following is a list of you and your invited workspace. So I'm the owner, okay? This is my workspace. It makes sense. Let's go over to users. These would be users within the SiteSkite account that we're looking at. Next up is marketplace. So this looks like, okay, some themes, some plugins. Very interesting. So this looks like a list of all of the free themes coming from somewhere. I'm not exactly sure where. You can sort by what's free. Let's go all again, and then we can, so this is everything. Then we can sort by, maybe we need something to do with like cadence, for example. So we could filter that out. Maybe Astra, Bloxy. Maybe we need a WordPress plugin. I don't think, yeah, nothing is listed there yet. WordPress themes, WordPress, okay, everything that's free, and so on. Thought I saw code snippets too. Okay, so we got some code snippets in there, or a code snippet. So it looks like the marketplace is something that's still in progress here. And then we have reports. So this would be a report that you could send yourself and your clients. So you send your clients a report that shows them like how long their site has been up, how many continuous days their site has been up, what backups you're running for them, the work you've done for them. That's my report. Send it to them, CC yourself. Or if some clients don't want the reports, you can just send them to yourself and review them. Date format, time format, the language. We have all kinds of options here. Pre-made layouts, it looks like, for the reports, different types of reports. You can also do a completely custom report. So I'm going to go with client summary. Okay, put your title in, the email subject. Here we can build the email body. And we've got some variables here to use to build that content. Here we can put a logo for the client's logo in there to personalize it and brand it even more. And over here on the right, we see a preview of what the signature is going to look like. But yeah, build all of this up. And then you choose what you want to include. It looks like we can drag and drop, change the order, maybe not. But we can edit these individual sections. We can take them out. So we can edit them, we can take them out. We could put a note in here. This looks like you could rearrange, but I'm not seeing that you can. Maybe you have to have, oh, okay, it is doing it. Okay, my bad. Okay, it's very subtle. What's next? What's next? Actions. We can add different stuff. Recent actions and activities. Okay, so here's where you could let them know things that you've worked on. You can add a summary, just add all of these. Actions, recent actions and activities. So it's kind of like a notes, key highlights, backups. So what I'm assuming is happening here is I'm going to move overview there. You're going to get the cover image. I put overview at the top. Then you're choosing your sections: performance, uptimes, action, summary, what you want to include, and it's going to pull that data in. But what you have the ability to do here is edit the sections, the heading, the subheading, and then the content in there. So you can do that as well as pulling the data. So if we want to only send to one client in particular, we could do that, or we could choose multiple sites. Okay, send a copy to your email, as I mentioned before. We choose the recipients. Okay, then we can choose manual, send it manually, weekly, monthly, quarterly. Let's go ahead and just review the report. Selected sites, report configuration, report period 30 days, report sections. We chose all the sections. Report preview. It's going to be a comprehensive site report for our site for the period of 30 days. Manual schedule. All 8 sections. Format is PDF document. Let's generate the report. We're just waiting for this to generate. Okay, we have our report. And what can we do here? So showing our site, what language it is. Here we can, it's like we can edit this. Let's go back. We can edit the report. We can email it. Or it's going to go out on, what is this? Yeah, I think some tool tips are kind of needed here. Just a bit of feedback. I mean, obviously a delete's delete. I'm not sure what this is. It looks like a download button, maybe. Okay, PDF. So I almost skipped over that because I didn't know what that really was. And then this is email, just going to bring up probably going to bring up the native email client on your workstation. But here we go. Here's our report. We have the cover, executive summary, performance, uptime and availability, executive summary, backup status, security overview, all of those types of things. So this is a way, the reports are for the clients that are willing to read them. It's important as a website maintenance company to stay top of mind and let them know the work that your clients know the work that you're doing for them. So they don't wonder, like, I'm paying this person X amount per month and they're just out there doing who knows what. So for the clients that care, these reports are really important. So that's really neat that this is included. Okay, so I guess it sent it to my inbox because I put my email address in there, but you can send it obviously to the client. Okay, what else do we need to see? I think that's it. I think let's go back to this homepage here of SiteSkite. Linked sites, automated backups, teams and users, vulnerability detection, sandbox site, clone site from backup. We don't need to test that. I'm just going to assume that it works. Pretty self-explanatory. Create that backup and then create a new site from it. WP Essentials, we looked at that. Yeah, one click, apply your preferred stack to any site. I would like to see actually how that works. Okay, we've got our stack. Can I go to my sites and then trying to think, how do we apply those essentials. Let's go back to their site and see if we can figure this out. So we created a preset using presets. Open the site, WP Essentials, choose your custom preset, apply preset. So we're over here. We go to our sites. Let's go to, maybe we can do it in one of these Sandbox sites. So let's select our site. Okay. Add blueprint. I don't remember blueprint being mentioned anywhere. Blueprint. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what this is. I mean, I know what blueprints are, but I'm not quite sure what that's doing. Okay, so I have my site selected. I'm not sure how to apply. Maybe it has to be a linked site. Site is selected. And then it said go to the essentials. Okay, WP Essentials. Using presets on multiple sites. Once created, your preset becomes reusable for all of your linked site steps. Open the site and then go to WP Essentials. Choose your custom preset, apply. This allows you to copy your ideal plugin environment to dozens of. Okay, I'm in my site. I'm not seeing how to do that. All right, let's go back out. Maybe if I just select it at this level. Maybe if I change, what's this? No brand. So site is selected. Now maybe if I go over here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll go ahead and move on. I'm not really understanding that. White label, rebrand SiteSkite's plugin with your own agency name and logo. Okay. I didn't see how to do that either because over here, I'm seeing that still shows SiteSkite. All right, so let's go into our SiteSkite portal. We'll go to settings and white label. Here we go. Here's white label. So we can put in, let's call it just IWP management. We can change the description, the author name, author URL. They give you a preview of what it's going to look like over here. We can choose the site and then we click apply, it looks like. Apply white label settings to the selected sites. Okay, so they're making you put this in here. Let's go. IWP management description. Author name, URL, let's just go InfluenceWP. Apply. There we go. So I would think that the plugin preview over here should be updated. There we go. So here's our white label. The plugin name has changed, the description, the author. Okay. Okay, so that's white labeling. Bring your own cloud storage. We don't need to talk about that. That's just where you want to back up your stuff. Smart engine, automate and manage. Yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory too. Come over here. And then with your site selected or multiple sites selected, you could then, it's called Smart Engine, right? Smart Engine. Let me read this one more time. Maybe I'm oversimplifying it. Automate and manage updates across all of your sites with ease. Bulk update, rollback, add or delete plugins and themes in one go, saving. Okay, yeah. So that's right. So you go over here. And then down here with all these, so with these all selected, we see in the bottom, we can update and what's activated or deactivate or delete them. So that's that kind of stuff. And then we also have over here on the right-hand side under actions, update, activate, deactivate, rollback, and delete. So you can do it at the individual level or at the bulk level here at the bottom. All right, and that's with themes or plugins, and I'm assuming with core as well. I think it mentioned core. Maybe not. Maybe it's just plugins and themes. WP Canvas, did we cover that? Take full control of your WordPress sites with advanced. Yeah, we saw that. So that's, you could change things like the maintenance mode and search and replace. Rollback updates, we saw that. Page speed, performance, we saw that. User management, we saw that. And then notifications, that's self-explanatory. Okay, so again, as an agency that does this for a living, this is like one of the main offerings I have in my agency is website maintenance and support, website care, whatever you like to call it. This is extremely powerful. I can tell already there's a couple of hiccups and just being picky about a couple of things, but by and large, I'm trying to think if I know of any other solution on the market that does the things that this does. I can't right now. Some of them do a subset and some of them do different things, but I don't know of any that does the combination of things that this does. Like the Sandbox Sites, for example. This WP Essentials, I'm not seeing that in other bulk management tools for WordPress. I couldn't figure out how to get it to work, but I'm going to assume it's something that I am doing wrong and is not something to do with SiteSkite. I also am not sure what blueprints are. I don't recall those being mentioned anywhere here on the website. I may have just missed it. So that's interesting. I don't know if it's in the documentation. Okay, here we go. So they do have something in the docs. So blueprints, if you're not familiar with that, create a site, build it up the way you want, with your plugins, your settings and all of that. And then you save that as a blueprint. And then whenever you go to fire up a new site, then you can start from a blueprint. A blueprint is a reusable website template created from a Sandbox site. Once saved, the blueprint can be launched as a brand new Sandbox website in seconds. Each launch creates a fresh install and so on and so forth. So there's private blueprints only accessible by you, used for internal testing and personal workflows. Public blueprints, shareable with a unique URL. Anyone opening the link gets a fresh Sandbox site idea. Okay, so the blueprints are a sandbox, more of a sandbox thing, which is fine. Launching a blueprint. Where do they live? All sites created from blueprints are listed under Sandbox Sites. Okay, so this is a really, really cool feature. This isn't launching a live site. This is launching, quickly launching a blueprint in your Sandbox environment for testing and things like that. So again, I don't know of any other tool that is a WordPress centralized bulk management tool for WordPress. I'm not aware of any that have that built in either. Also, the ability to manage users and assign roles and things like that at this level. I'm not aware of any that have that as well as a comprehensive solution. And the marketplace thing is interesting if that ever becomes something that is it's interesting. And think more about that. But yeah, this is very interesting. Let's go back one more time to the pricing. And the reason is like I'm literally intrigued by this from a business standpoint. 30 linked sites, all of these features. And there's the price. Very interesting, very compelling. Again, one more time, I don't know of any solution in WordPress for centralized WordPress website management that is offering the features, all of the features that are shown here in the same package. I think it's the first I've seen that does this. All right, that is it. That is SiteSkite. Again, if you enjoyed this video and you think SiteSkite is for you, I definitely think it's worth a look, 100%. InfluenceWP.com. Find the deals, grab the exclusive offer for SiteSkite. And thank you, SiteSkite, again, for being a partner. You've built something extremely powerful and unique. So congratulations, and I will see you all in the next video.